welcome everybody to this thematic event organized by Nashuns and specifically by Mahdi from BusinessMed. And thanks also with the technical support of Trust IT. I am Anita De Franco from Polyme, one of the co-organizers of this series of events. So we are here today to talk about industry engagement for sustainable soil health, joining Living Labs. So while you're here, again, good morning. We are from Italy. I don't know where else people are coming from. Here with me, there is also Eugenio helping us with the event. So maybe before starting, let me introduce some rules of the house. So you know that this event will be recorded. So please use the Zoom chat feature for comments, reactions, links, and also participate to the online polls that will be launched and discussed during the event. So let me just briefly introduce you what we are doing and why we're here. So this is the third of a series of thematic events meant to tailor and target some of the key messages of the EU soil mission to the most diverse and transnational audiences. So we have different kinds of aims. So again, convey and tailor the messages of the soil mission, support matchmaking activities and clustering and stimulating stakeholders that are interested in engaging in soil health living labs, mobilize knowledge, resources, and capacities in the specialized topics. We will, of course, cover the various concepts that we have introduced. And please take note that, again, this is a third of a series of events. This is a calendar, and you can also have a look at the all palimpsests of the events in the general website that we will forward to you the most important links to access this information. A few words about Nashuns. It is a project that supports the potential applicants to the calls of the soil mission and aiming at establishing 100 living labs on healthy soils by 2030. It acts as a messengers of the mission. So our mission is to raising awareness among national and regional stakeholders, providing access to quality checked and capacity building materials and information, spurring discussion for the best living lab setups and address regional soil needs, and fostering early matchmaking opportunities to create cross-regional living lab clusters. We conducted a series of activities that may be interesting for the participants and overall to the general audience. So please have a look again in our website on what we did for the national engagement events. That will be also a second round of them. We also created a lot of webinars, a series that is meant to present and inform the Living Labs methodology, mission criteria, best practices and recommendations, as well as information on application processes. And we also have a matchmaking platform that we will be discussing a lot during this event, especially in the second part, and also a help desk to offer assistance to applicants on the topic of the open calls of the EU mission. So please stay updated and have a look at the general materials that you can find on our website. This is just, let's say, the overall activities, a glance on the overall activities that you can always find in the website. So please have a look at that. Now I leave the floor for Eugenio that will be introducing and further setting the scene. Just again, a brief look at the overall agenda of today. So me and Eugenio are doing the introduction. That will be the first part, the panel discussion moderated by Mahdi Komsi from BusinessMed, having and thanking again our speakers that will talk about 3 interesting projects about industry perspectives on soil health. And then the second part, mainly dedicated to matchmaking platform training and tutorials. Again, if you have any question or interest, please raise it in the chat and we will address them later. So Eugenio.
Thank you, Anita. And so I would like just to start an introduction to convey the messages of the soil mission, which is one of the scope of nations, and it's also a scope for this series of thematic events. It's very important. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the mission, but the main scope of this mission is to establish 100 living labs and lighthouses around Europe to face the big challenges that we have on unhealthy soils. It's estimated that between 60 and 70% of EU soils are unhealthy, and we cannot just combat this issue by simply referring to technological or technical solutions. We need a social and technical solution pathway to be established together. So this is why we have this idea of living labs. So the mission will lead this transition, funding ambitious research and innovation programs with a strong, as we said, social science component. I will briefly introduce the concept of 100 living labs and lighthouses for the soil mission in the next slide. It's important that this idea of 100 living labs is about also establishing a network for soil monitoring across Europe. So living labs in the conceptualization of the soil mission, healthy soil living labs, has different aims. So it has an aim of innovation, co-creation. It also wants to somehow contribute to societal challenges and improving soil health and related ecosystem services. In living labs, especially, different activities have to take place. So it's a place, we said, of innovation. It's a place of co-production of solutions. So there must be some activities and innovation, experimentation to test and also monitor the health of soils. It's also a place for networking. And who are the participants of our living labs, healthy soil living labs? Of course, we go beyond the quadruple helix model. It's a strong public-private people partnership with multi-stakeholders. And it's also important to recognize the role that each stakeholder might have, including soil owners. So it's also an occasion working on living labs to engage the wider society, wider public, and also the policy arena. In terms of context, of course, we would like to stress the fact that living labs should be as wide as possible, also in terms of engaging different disciplines. They are established on a place-based approach, so it's very much related to the place, to the specific location of the sites that are tests for our technologies, our improvements for healthy soils. Okay, and then next to living labs, we have the concept of lighthouses. Lighthouses are places that show exemplary performance in terms of soil health and related ecosystem services. I will tell you more about the role of lighthouses in the next slides. So as we understood, living labs are really place-based, user-centered, transdisciplinary research and innovation ecosystems. They are also understood as collaborative initiatives between multiple partners to co-create, test, monitor, and evaluate solutions to a common problem. In the conceptualization and what we expect from applicants that will join the next call of project proposals, that living labs will be established around 10 to 20 individual sites, experimentation sites that basically share common challenges and common experimentation part. If you want to know more, of course, you can refer to the set of criteria that are developed under the mission and are published in the soil missions implementation plan. Here you have the link. We will put it later also in the chat. Next. Yeah, we have, so this is, I think this graph is very clear in illustrating how a living lab should work. A living lab, as we said, is a collection also of living lab experimentation sites. Multiple partners, stakeholders of different disciplines and expertise join together and try to test solutions on the site in specific places. Of course, the role of lighthouses, as you can see here, might be internal, so it can be part of the living lab, so a demonstrator that it's also where also partners are joining the consortium. But as an alternative, living lighthouses can also stay outside and just be used as a sort of high performance demonstrator. Yeah, so this is the main messages. So if you are not really aware of how a healthy soil living lab works for the soil mission, it's very important that you stick to this definition when you make an application. It's now time to start with the thematic event on industry engagement. Of course, an important an important concept is also to try to respond to the challenges of the 8 objectives of the soil mission. Today, we highlight that, of course, industry refers to so many objectives of the mission, but in particular, we think it's the contribution of industry is very relevant to the objective number 4, reduce soil pollution and enhance restoration, but also to objective number 7 on reducing the EU global footprint on soil. So I leave now the floor to Mehdi, and thanks.
Thank you, Eugenio and Anita, and thank you for all of you to be here with us today in this webinar. So we are very pleased to start, let's say, and to set the scene regarding the discussion. So as explained by my colleagues, that it's regarding the definition of the living labs and how we are participating and contributing as a nation project in the soil mission. But we believe that the engagement of the industrial and all the actors is very important. So in this context, we aim to provide through this event an industry-specific insights and solution to optimize soil health. And we believe that this co-creation could be done only by matchmaking and by having all the actors present with us, and specifically also the industrial sector. So through the preparation of this event, to be honest with you, it was not easy to find, let's say, this connection between the living lab and the industrial. We discussed with a lot of industrial actors, and we found that raising awareness is very important, and that even the industrial, they are not really aware about the importance of being part of this kind of initiative and what's the importance of that. So living labs as a dynamics innovation ecosystem and user-driven solution. So the private sector could really have a great, let's say, benefits, and also the living labs also could benefit from the private sector. And this is the aim of this discussion. So we will provide you with them key and concrete example of success, let's say, stories where the private sector is engaged with living labs and they are winning from each others. So through this discussion, so we'll have 15 minutes discussion. So we will give the floor to my colleague from Krakow Technology Park, so Ms. Monika Makowska, and it will present the Living Lab Krakow Technology Park, and to show some key example and solution coming from startups that have been implemented and in industrial companies from the ecosystem. Also, we'll have with us Mr. Ricardo Chagas, which is the Technical and Scientific Director for Food for Sustainability Collab, which is very important that we're going to showcase the work of the Food for Sustainability in providing regenerative solution, and also to highlight the role of companies and industrial and the connection between the private sector and the business, which is a key in this kind of initiative. And last but not least, Mr. Ayman Frija from the International Center for Agriculture Research in the Dry Area, who will share an experience, and we choose that we want to have an experience abroad than Europe, and that's why we want to have with us Mr. Ayman Frija to show how in Tunisia and Algeria and other areas than Europe, how the experience they are having in implementation of the living labs, and how they're collaborating also with the private sector. So I will not take too much. So we will start and to set the scene about the discussion, and also to understand also your point, because it's very important that also we hear from you. So we call you that if you have any question or any insights, you could share it with us in the chat. So we'll start by ice-breaking questions. So the first one is, how would you rate the current collaboration between living labs and the private sector in promoting sustainable soil practices? So through your experience, we want to have from you, what do you think about this collaboration? What is the situation? If it's highly effective, if it's ineffective, that we need to work on it more, or it's moderately effective, or for sure if you have no experience. As now we are confirming, let's say, our understanding. So more of us, we don't have experience with such collaboration, and that's why we will. I will wait to the final results, but I believe that it's very important, and that's why we are having this webinar. Also, we are contributing in the effort of raising awareness of the importance and the key of this collaboration between the private sector and the living labs. Okay, so I believe that most of you have answered to the first question. If you could move on to the next question, please. Okay, so we want also to know from your perspective, what specific benefits have you observed when the private sector is actively engaged with living labs? So we know that most of you have no experience in this kind of activity, but from your perspective, what do you think? What are the specific benefits that could the private sector actively engage in the context of living in the living labs, in the context of the soil health optimization? So we, as you know, the private sector could unlock unique testbed access, could co-create opportunities, could accelerate innovation cycle, enhance market competitiveness, improved resource allocation, and all of the above. So maybe most of the answer, it's maybe the engagement of the private sector could be very beneficial to the living labs, as through this let's say engagement, we could ensure that the innovation that we are working on are more user-centric and are validated in the market, and that could be used by all the actors. So as you know, because in the collaboration between the business and the academia, there is this gap, not only from the industry, but also from the academia part. So it's very important that we ensure this collaboration. So thank you. So let's move on to the last question, and we start our discussion. So here, in your opinion, what are the challenges and obstacles that hinder the effective collaboration between living labs and the private sector? What do you think about this? We could also, and for sure, we will hear from our speakers more answers regarding the challenges, but here we propose the lack of communication, regulatory barriers, and limited financial incentives, or we don't have significant challenge observed. So lack of communication now, 50% of the answer more on the lack of communication. Yes, it's very important, the communication between the two parts, and also the involvement. Each actor of the ecosystem need to be aware of what happened and need to communicate also of the work that they are doing to ensure that the other hear from them, and also to ensure that the connection happen. Regulatory barrier, we know now that there is a lot of initiatives that are promoting this kind of initiative. And for sure, a limited financial incentive is very important to finance this collaboration. And maybe the private sector need to do more effort in this kind of initiative. But sometimes when talking about small industry or SME, they don't have and they cannot afford. And here, the opportunities provided, for example, by the European Commission under the Soil Mission is very important to ensure that we have this financial capacity that could finance this collaboration. Thank you very much. So this is some ice-breaking question that we wanted to share with you, and want to hear from you, and to ensure that we want to have a dynamic discussion. We don't have to. We don't want to have some monotone, let's say, discussion. So let's start by our first speaker, Miss Monika Makowska, which is the Deputy Director of the Krakow Technology Park. So we'll hear from her some example of solutions that are coming from the startup and in implementing a solution for industrial companies, kind of open innovation. So Ms. Monika, I'll give you the floor. So you'll have, I will say 8 minutes. So I give you the floor. You could share your screen. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Monika Machowska. I'm here with my colleague Agnieszka Wodarczyk-Gębik. We are both working in Krakow Technology Park, and we are both representing this part of the company that is working intensively with as a living lab. We call it a Krakow Living Lab. Let me tell you a few words about our company. So we are a business support organization which is based in the south of Poland. Our main clients are technology companies, but also large enterprises, production enterprises based in the whole region. And we are operating as a one-stop shop for those companies. So we are a living lab since 2015. And also a recognized European Digital Innovation Hub since 2019. And since our main clients are industrial companies and technology companies, our activity within the Living Lab is trying to support the companies in the testing and validation of their MVPs. We are also working quite intensively with local administration and the regional administration in the field of innovation and regional smart specializations. So we are an LTD company operating on the market 25 years. And here you can see some of the key technology areas that we are working in. Today, I would like to present you an example of our activity where we engage large enterprises from one hand, and from the other, the startups. So basically, we are organizing a call for the industrial partners in order to define with them their key challenges, not only technological challenges, but the key challenges they are facing in their companies. And then we are organizing another call to select startups that could solve those problems. We, as a Living Lab, you can see the K in the middle, it stands for the logo of our company. we as a Living Lab, we are supporting the process of the implementation of this, the startup solutions in the large enterprises on the company's infrastructure, of the company's own infrastructure, and we are supporting them in the piloting and testing phase. We are also supporting the process financially, which means that we are offering up to 50K per project. So some figures, the process is lasting about 6 months. We call it acceleration program. And I am very happy because I saw during the quiz that we all have identified the acceleration innovation circles as one of the most important. So it really is so. We have so far organized like 5 editions of these programs where we managed to bring together 86 startups, and we match them with 25 industrial partners coming from the industry. Like I said, our main role as a Living Lab is to offer training, mentoring, and financing, and to support them during the piloting and implementation phase in the premises of the industrial partners. When we organize the call, we are looking for startups that are offering various solutions that can be implemented in the industry. So we are looking for production solutions for warehousing, for work and health and safety, for sales, but also for power engineering or green tech. How does sorry for the mistake, I see a process with one S, sorry, I was quite fast. So how does the process look like? So first we are running a selection for the industrial partners. So we are looking for companies that have identified their key challenges, and we are defining with them the key elements of the challenges. Then we are scouting for the startups, and we already in the scouting phase, we already involve the industrial partners. And together with them, we conduct the interviews with the startups. Then there is the crucial part of this acceleration, where we really come up with solutions from the startups, and we test them in the real life environment in the factories. And finally, we assess the model, how did it work, and we also look for a sustainable business model in order to support the further commercialization and the cooperation among the partner and the startup. So here you can see some of the figures. I won't go too much into the details because I don't have so much time. Here you can see the logos of many of the startups that have gone through our acceleration program. And here you can see the industrial partners. These are the large companies, the industrial companies where we have implemented the solutions of the startups. And I would like to show you 3 examples because I think this is the most important part of the startups and the industrial partners cooperation. So the first one is a startup which is called Vidmo Spectral Technologies. So they are a deep tech startup that is offering a very precise tomography of the subsurface. Which is a very innovative technology that allows to collect very precise data on the subsurface structure. And this startup, we have matched them. Of course, this solution can be implemented in different sectors, like, for example, environmental protection services, in mining industry. But what we did, we matched this startup with a very large Polish construction company, which is called Warbud. You can see their logo here on the right side. And what they did together is they were analyzing the subsurface for the construction sites, and they were also comparing data that the construction company already had available from other sources. And of course, the data coming from the startup was much more precise. So I know that this company has now raised some additional funding from the EIC Acceleration Program, which we are also very proud of. Another case is Bilberry, which is also a startup. That is, they are researchers and they have combined their knowledge of optometrics, biotechnology, and IT skills. And they are offering a LED lighting technology for horticulture. But what makes this solution specific is that they are improving it makes the plants grow faster because they are using a very specific lighting, and they also combine it with a platform that allows to collect a lot of data. And what we did, we matched them with JMP Flowers, which is the largest greenhouse owners in Poland. They are based in central Poland, and they are the largest producer in Poland in terms of roses and orchids. And so the implementation was, the pilot was that the lighting was introduced into these greenhouses, and the amount of flowers that they could get was much higher, and also the data that they could collect about the flowers was giving them much more information. And a third case, which is also very interesting, is a startup that is called Insignes Labs. And they are offering a unique technology of inorganic molecules, which can replace very easily chemical pesticides and synthetic fertilizers, and it allows for the farmers the crops to have a very high efficiency of the crops. So what we did, we matched this startup with the Maspex, which is the largest Polish food producer. They have over 70 brands, and they are also using the cooperation with the startup in order to educate people about some habits of not using chemical pesticides and synthetic fertilizers. So I wanted to show you these examples because I wanted you to understand the way we work. And of course, the process is not that easy. It's 6 months of quite intensive work, a lot of discussions, a lot of training, mentoring, and coaching. But this is the crucial thing, and this is the crucial thing also what you see on the slide of the living lab, which is the real testing and piloting phase. So a lot of going out in the field, in the companies, a lot of you can see a lot of working on the side, a lot of study visits, and a lot of discussions between the industrial partners and the startups. And of course, our motto for the whole process is experiment, fail, learn, and repeat, because this is really also the process of a classical living lab. So we iterate and iterate again, and we make the products better. I'm almost done, but this is something important that I would like to share with you, which is from the perspective of the industrial companies, the benefits, because we need to also to attract the industrial companies to this cooperation. And what we know from the discussion with our companies is that this process allows them, of course, to identify their key challenges And they have access to a selected group of startups that allows them this pilot implementation to make it quite easily. This is a very good proof of the test before invest, so they can quite easily excuse me, test if the solution is good for them or not, with a low level of risk. Of course, they can also raise their internal teams' competencies, the teams that are in charge in the large industrial companies of innovation and digitalization. And of course, they can very quick verify these innovations, but they also receive what is important. Yeah, sorry, I'm almost done. These very agile, tailor-made solutions. I will skip this part because I see I have no more time. And we also have, you can find all these startups in our innovation radar that we have prepared. So let's keep in mind the motto. I think is valuable for most of the living labs. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Monica, for this incredible work that you are doing. We know that the process of open innovation and this connection, even between the startups and the industrial, is not very easy, especially at first, having the engagement of the industrial companies and convince them, and then to have the good startup that could answer to this problem. So we know that it's a lot of work, a lot of effort. Really, thank you very much for this sharing of experience, because it showed that it could happen and it could also achieve such great results. I will come back to you with some follow-up question, but now I will maybe go to Ricardo from Food for Sustainability to share with us the work done in Food for Sustainability in providing a kind of solution, and the role of companies, especially, and the connection between business and academia. And I hope that you stick to the timing, Ricardo. So thank you very much. I give you the floor. You could share your screen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madi. I will share my screen now. Let's just confirm if you can see it. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Madi, for the presentation, and thank you everyone from the Nations Project also for the invitation to be here today and to show you a little bit about our job and what we do regarding this thematic that is the link with industry. I called it SME Engagement for Sustainable Soil Health because we work mainly with SMEs. I'm the technical and scientific director of the CoLab. This type of entity is or are non-for-profit associations in Portugal. Particularly, our CoLab works related to the primary sector. So we work with agriculture, and this thematic of the soil health is something that is very important to us, and is something that we work on a daily basis. We link a lot of partners. In our case, just focusing on the association, we are 13 partners. We have a multidisciplinary team of 25 researchers right now, and we have companies, associations, academia, etc., all working together to answer to these specific problems. Regarding our agenda, and just for a general presentation of what we do, we have 5 pillars of research within the CoLab. We work in circular economy, sustainable agriculture, natural capital, food, nutrition, and health. And then we have the last part of entrepreneurship and capacitation of producers. And these activities are divided mainly by 3 main work groups that are the primary activities that are very focused on research and innovation and research and development, all the knowledge transfer by our academia, and then the services that we provide directly to the producers or to the companies that work with us. We are part of a lot of networks, including EIT Food, Rede Rural Nacional, that is a national network, etc. And this give us the ability also to interact with a lot of players and a lot of stakeholders, not only at the national level, but also at the European level. Just as an introduction to what I'm going to show you regarding the Living Labs thematic and how do we interact with the SMEs and with the industry. As I said before, we work a lot with agriculture, and we work in the pathway to have more sustainable agriculture. So this is something that is one of our main objectives. And when we talk about sustainability, one of the things that we want to achieve is going through a conventional agriculture to a more sustainable agriculture, even if it's just to change some practice, to change some methodology, to change some type of equipment that the producers are using. And if we can increase their sustainability of their production, is something that is what we do. I adapted this slide from EIT Food. So in a very short way, we can change an approach to that producer. We can change the environmental impact of a certain production or certain activity that they are doing. One of the things that is very important is the income from the producer, of course, and the costs and profits that they have, particularly when we are working with small producers, where this also makes a huge difference when we do some change on their practice. If we look into the right part of this graphic once again, and we think about the practices that we need to change or we need to tackle, we work, and I will give you 3 examples of what we do. For example, we do biodiversity monitoring and valorization of ecosystem services. We have an ongoing European project, Horizon Europe, that is Biomonitor for CAP, that focuses exactly on this. So to monitor biodiversity and to evaluate and monitor these ecosystem services, and how can we implement these new indicators to be applied at the European level. We work with functional natural barriers, we work with preserving natural areas, etc. And we have a team of 6 agronomists that work with us exactly on this regard. Another example is resource management. And I can give you examples from this schematic that we have here. So increased water storage, that I have a good example ahead on one of the not official living labs that we have, but one of the projects that we have. Increased carbon storage, reduce erosion, improve soil fertility, protect against extreme climate conditions, etc. Normally, for example, using agroforestry implementation, etc. Another topic that is super important to us is soil microbiome and soil health, which is one of the targets of Mission Soils, and is something that we also work at the collab. We have a soil health laboratory that was inaugurated some months ago, where we try to provide integrated analysis to producers, where we can mix physical-chemical analysis with microbiome analysis, and we can give this integrated image of their production, and we can help them to increase the soil health of their plot. This is also linked, of course, with other topics, as once again, the ecosystem services that the microbes and the microfauna provide to the not only to the soil, but only to the plant, and how can we conjugate all of this information with the producers. So looking into the food system and to the food system network, we have a lot of players putting in this game. So if we look into food production, and I'm just talking about food production in the examples that I gave, but we have the processing, packaging, logistics, distribution, the consumer, and the waste, and the byproduct polarization, etc. And all of that is done or is managed if we look into all of the stakeholders that are in this ecosystem. So we have a lot of stakeholders. This is a schematic from City, where we can see some of the stakeholders mentioned in here. And we have this helix that all links with the food chain and all of the food chain. And we can do an analogy to what the Living Labs needs to do, or the main objective. And picking up a little bit the example that was already shown previously by our colleagues from the ANOL, we can look into the quadruple helix on the implementation of the Living Labs, where we have the academia, the government, the citizens, and the industry all working together to answer to local or regional problems. One of these examples that we are actively working is the Ruda Lab, that is a demonstrator and a field bank located at the Ruda dos Vinhos in Portugal, where we, Food for Sustainability, are working together with the municipality of Arruda to implement. So this is already started. We have this field, it's Quinta da Morzinheira, with 38 hectares, and we have also an incubator, agro incubator linked to this, where we want to put community gardens, pulses, medicinal, aromatic plants, nuts, agroforestry. So the main objective is to bring new players to this municipality, bring innovative producers to the region, have a generational renewal on the specific region, looking into the producers, and to have a diversification of the activity at a local level. This only works when we are working with not only with the companies that will be there and working with us, but also with the around ecosystem. So the industry around this specific region that wants to interact with this new type of initiatives. Other project that we have that is building on this idea also, but at the region of Idanha Nova, where our headquarters are located. It was a project that was called Montado Plus, just finished last month, that the main objectives were to improve soil functionality and biodiversity, to have reforestation looking into Montado, and then to incorporate some techniques to increase the resilience and the soil health of these specific regions. So we managed to attract, and once again, as Monica said, we need to attract industry, and we need to attract partners to work with us. So we attracted 3 producers from this region, Monte Silveira Bio, Idanha, and Valfeitoso, to work with us on this regard, and we managed to have to implement this project at 148 hectares. We wanted to do minimal soil perturbation. We want to use plant grazing, and with an holistic approach. And here I have a photo of what we did. In this specific case, they had animals, and we implemented holistic grazing with them. One of the producers already did this, the others didn't. So this interaction between the producers and how to pass the good practices between each other was awesome. And we, at the same time, we had capacitation to these producers. And the second practice that we had was to use key lines to increase the water retention on these fields. So this is a schematic representation of what we did, because it was implemented last month. I don't have a so pretty photo like this one to show you, but here you can see that this was one of the practices that we implemented with these producers on the implementation of these new trees. And I know that I finished my time, but just one last slide. So we have a lot of projects ongoing. This only works with collaborative work and with a link between all of the projects and all of the producers and networks that we have. These can be divided, for example, valorization of territory and byproducts, training of producers, capacitation of producers, monitoring, innovation, digitalization of the sector. We are also part of a DIH, as Monica presented the DIH on their part. We are also linked to the agri-food DIH, one of the DIH in Portugal, and this only works if we implement this type of collaborative work with the industry, if we attract them, and if we show by the communication the great value of being part of this ecosystem, not only of producers, but also with academia, and work with this type of technology transfer also from academia to this type of producers, not only a local level, a regional level, national. And fortunately, we have this awesome opportunity with emission soils to implement this type of practices at the European level. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ricardo, for this great presentation and for showing a concrete example. And the good thing with when the collaboration between academia and the private sector, we'll see a real and concrete action on the ground. So it's very important that you have seen this. And thank you very much. And the final conclusion, it's very important also that really the communication and the connection between these two actors. And I think the soil mission is a great umbrella where you could enhance and contribute to enhance this collaboration. Thank you very much. So now I will move on to our last but not least speaker, Mr. Ayman Friza from the International Center for Agriculture Research in the dry area. And I know that he will share with us a great experience with the work that they are having. So Mr. Ayman, you have the floor. So please stick to the time also. Thank you very much. You could share your screen. Thank you. And sorry, just before I give you the floor, I want to tell also to the speakers, if you have some resources that you could share it in the discussion so that our audience could benefit from them and could access and explore your experience. Thank you very much. Mr. Ayman, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mehdi. Thank you for the invitation to this event, but thank you also to other speakers and presenters. I have a slightly different perspective into this private sector engagement into soil health, and because of two things. The first thing is that my own perspective is coming, maybe similar to Ricardo from a research for development perspective. Other researchers, how can we engage and facilitate? As researchers, as you know, we lead research for development projects and we coordinate such projects, and that's where we need some partnerships, and that's where we are, I would say, like engaged with private sector from a coordination perspective, but also from a North African perspective, where we are working in not only semi-arid farming systems where soil is very degraded, but we also have the constraint of working with smallholder farming systems. And those smallholder farming system research and development for these smallholder farming system sectors are by nature subsidized by those in those countries, in those North African countries. So we struggle a lot to engage meaningful investments in terms especially of soil and natural resources in general. If those investments, because of the low capacity of investments of those farmers, but also because of the low level of engagement, motivation, so many things, the specificities of the small farming systems. So I'm going to reflect on from the experience of ICARDA. We are establishing a living, we have an initiative in 7 countries, including Tunisia, but also building on previous work in Tunisia and Algeria, trying to do some agroecological transition. By agroecological transition, we mean promoting a set of innovations which are relevant for system transformation, but system transformation towards guided by a set of agroecological principles. And one of those principles is soil health. But also another principle is the co-generation and co-sharing of knowledge. That's where we decided to build all our initiative and discussions and implementation around living labs. So establishing a living lab in semi-arid conditions with very small smallholder farmers was not easy, and was a different experience from what I heard so far. So for our living lab, our main outcome and achievements we are expecting in 3 years is that food system actors, including the private sector, policymakers, and female and male small-scale farmers, collaborate with researchers in an international network of living labs that promote integration of research and innovation processes to facilitate the co-design and testing of context-specific agroecological innovations. So our living lab aims to deliver through concerned research and innovation efforts the the green transformation we aim for by providing space for long-term and site-specific multi-stakeholders and real-life experimentation. And this participatory approach of innovating, we also sometimes call it the inclusive innovation, inclusive by including the poorest, who are usually ignored, which are the beneficiaries, the farmers, the communities. That process was not easy to implement, and there are a lot of discussion at the research level how we can do better participatory and inclusive innovation into such contexts. So our living lab, as you see, is established with. So we have this network of public administration who are supporting and backing up our work, keeping an eye. Through policy dialogues, we are engaging them also to in terms of alignment to their policy programs and things like that, not to be, you know, very like far from that, but also to have their backup once we have innovations, policy backup. We also coordinate with international donors to align also with the overall cooperation, international cooperation portfolio in terms of smallholder development, agricultural development and smallholder development in particular. But also in the Living Lab, which you see it here in the green circle, we are working with what we call OPAs. OPAs are very small, 50 to maybe maximum 150 members, farmers associations on different topics. I will present this production system later, but we also involve in the value chains, agricultural value chains, we try to work on, and in the commodities we engage in, we try to involve some private sectors from the milk processors, machinery suppliers, seed suppliers, but also other traders for commercial purposes. The production system is semi-arid, as I said, and it's mixed. It's a crop livestock. People you do cereals and livestock, small ruminant, but also sometimes they do olive plantations with livestock, also with small ruminants mostly. The land is very degraded, very low rainfall, very variable, and all of those constraints. Within this context, we work with 6 communities, as you can see them in the below map, and we engage with those communities through structured intervention, where we try to prioritize with them their needs. So we are very demand-oriented. What's your need? What you do know as innovation? What do you expect? What's your a lot of participatory work to establish a vision for those visioning process, and then we decline those visioning process into a more technology-oriented and focused approach to identify priority technologies that can support the transformation of those systems. But also we adopt a perspective of packaging. So we actually don't believe that system transformation and to enhance the resilience of the agroecological transformation, we cannot do it with only one innovation or technology. We need many technologies, but also at the same time, one technology to be scaled at large level and to have an impact, or to be sustained through time, to sustain the adoption of this technology, we need a set of what we call complementary innovations, organize the society into an association if there is no organization. Try to if we are working on a good crop rotation, good for the soil, try to develop some machines which can which farmers can use to have an independent seed system for next year's plantation if they are well convinced, instead of just going to the market and not finding anything. Also, at the same time, let's try to refine the local knowledge and see how we can also give better insight and more contextualized research to these farmers, etc. So we do this packaging. We call it socio-technical packages of different small complementary innovations which support each other, which are all feasible and affordable in order to enhance, sustain the adoption of core soil-oriented innovations, but also to reach impact also and to benefit the whole community and to be inclusive. A lot of activities are done within our field days, co-designing, mutual understanding, etc. before engaging into the implementation of the different elements of our socio-technical innovations one by one. We don't have a sequence yet, but we are working as researchers on sequencing of interventions for system transformation, but that's a different story. So we end up in our projects, which is really large because it's an impact-oriented project. We end up with different activities designed with different partners, local partners mostly. That's why we call our living lab. We don't call it living lab, we call it living landscape. Because for agriculture in particular, sometimes you do intervention with one community, but other actors from the landscape can be affected or need to be involved for better understanding or scaling. So we end up with a lot of interventions, and what you see, the colorful partners in the middle are the private sector. For the private sector, we have a very consolidated approach. We call it of course, our concerns as researchers and as research for people working on research for development and research for impact and research for scaling, especially because our aim is to transform the landscape. It's not only to create the innovation and then, we need to scale. Whatever innovation is good for the soil, we need to scale it. So we have this, what we call consolidated approach, four wheels approach of partnership for scaling, where the private sector are a key pillar of this approach. And why we need this approach? Because we believe that we as researchers, we need to speak a different language to each of those partners if we really want to engage them as ambassadors of our innovation, soil-friendly or soil-oriented innovations. And here I'm going to present three examples of how we engage the private sectors within this perspective. And this context. So the first example is a seed company. It's a medium-sized seed company. We don't have a lot of forage. We have a lot of forage mixtures and legume forages which are good for the soil, but no big seed company want to engage into that because the market for those seeds was still very low. And because they need to do a lot of research and development and things like that, which is not very cost effective for them. So we partnered with a medium-sized seed company. And we divided the roles. So the key facilitator, of course, it was like us, and through the project, we facilitated, we asked the public actor with our research organizations, public research organizations, to provide relevant mixtures and doses for different contexts within our living landscape, different contexts, different soil types, need different type of mixtures, etc. So all of these background research was done by the public actors. They also provided new varieties of veg for the mixtures, and they supported the demonstration and the raising the demand for this, the initial demand at least, market demand for these mixtures. And then the private actor was also actively engaged with us by establishing and funding a network of seed multipliers, from which he collected later on the seeds to mix them. They also, of course, worked on through their facilities to treat, to pack, and to trade. Trading for us is scaling the seeds commercially and then make them available at the market at affordable prices. And they also continue through their own marketing and strategy to support field days for further raising the demand. So research and research for development and the private sector was really working together. And we, I didn't put the numbers, I wasn't rushed, but we really shifted in 3 years. We shifted from almost half ton of seeds from the lab. Within 3 years, we produced, with the private sector, produced 200 tons of forage mixture seeds and commercialized them successfully, and the demand keep growing. Another example is from Algeria. So the previous example was from Tunisia. Another example from Algeria, where we worked on the zero tillage, on developing a locally manufactured zero tillage cedar. Zero tillage is very important to conserve soil health in our contexts, especially also giving the aridity. It keeps soil moisture. It builds soil carbon content. So you cannot do conservation agriculture of soil conservation without a good plowing method. Zero tillage was one of those methods. So we also went to a PMT. It's an enterprise, public-private. It's a public enterprise in Nigeria with a strong participation from the private sector. We worked on them with the research organizations to develop an early prototype for the zero tillage cedar. We supported the acquisitions of the cedar so the public actor supported the acquisition of the cedar through subsidies. They worked on including that cedar into the subsidy schemes to farmers, and then they also keep through the different stations they have in all over Algeria, east and west, to continue demonstrations and piloting to keep raising the demand. And the private sector was, of course, funding the production line for the new designed cedar, which was designed by the group of researchers. And then they also invested in the commercialization of the cedar, and they keep supporting the public partner now in terms of training and in terms of field days to raise, of course, the awareness and the demand, and everybody was happy. And we shifted from within the 3 years, we shifted from at the beginning of the project, we shifted from 3 seeders involved in our project and sold by this PMIT company. And after at the end of the 4th year, they I think they commercialized more than 40 seeders. And of course, I mean, it's a slow trend, but that was really the beginning. We don't have updated figures because the project ended like something like 3 years ago. Finally, it's there is also this, to sustain the adoption of some innovations, we needed to develop a package of small machineries. Small machineries, as you know, either you can import them, but they are not always sometimes, adapted to the local context, to the type of ingredients you put and things like that. But so we engaged with us small manufacturers of small machines, I think 2 or 3, from our living landscape, with whom we who were the ones who helped to design the early prototype. The early prototype was subsidized by or supported by our projects, and the public sector were doing an early networking between the manufacturer and the farmers groups, the identification of the specific demand for services expected from the machines, funding, of course, the early prototype from the project money, support the acquisition of the machines through subsidies, but also so they included also in the subsidy schemes to farmers who want to acquire it, and they continue the demonstration and the piloting through their networks of agencies within the regions. And the private sector, of course, continue also to do the training and maintenance of the machines all over. So it's a process of giving the machine, testing it, come back, try to see something is wrong, help it. And through the years, like we really went through a process where now we have very robust and consolidated low-cost locally manufactured machines, and the private sectors now the demand for those machines is increasing also slightly, and they now also commercializing separately from our projects. Some of them are even trying to export outside those machines outside. So these are really few types of collaborations, soil-oriented. We don't have so much time to say why exactly soil-oriented, like especially the last example, for example, but we can have it in the discussion. I would say like all of those experiences are really impacted, have strong impact in terms of system transformation, very strong impact, especially on cost reduction of farmers, cost reduction from zero tillage in terms of fuel and plowing, because plowing takes a lot of money, but also the small machines sometimes like it helps to valorize byproducts for the feeding of farmers. It helps to valorize a legume crop, good for the soil and for the rotation, and make it easier to store, for example, and then more appealing for farmers to adopt, etc. So that positive leverage, there is a positive leverage for enhancing also the overall adoption and sustaining especially the adoption over time. That's what we are looking for, how we can sustain the adoption of one innovation, which doesn't look to farmers to be really very useful because it's only like soil oriented. But when you make it, when you add a complementary innovation to it and make it more like profit oriented to farmers, then farmers would engage and sustain it. And the only problem we have, I would say, is in our context, in North African context, is because now it's a project-based type of activities. Projects are trying to play the role of facilitators, but if no projects, the public sector is not necessarily engaging into such facilitation process, which can be like a constraint for the continuous building further on this type of experiences, again, because that type of farming and because the government is already subsidizing so many things, research and things like that. So it's not really easy to find a facilitator of those processes. Then it's difficult to make it systematic in those countries. So this was everything from my end. Thank you, and over to you, Mehdi.
Thank you very much, Ayman, for this really important, let's say, conclusion and sharing experience. So mainly you talked about scalability, and it's very important, and one of the key let's say point that could provide the private sector engagement is mainly the scalability. So I know that the speakers are Monica need to leave, and also Ricardo, but really I want to, let's say, to conclude, and even if you have some words to say, and we need to pass to the next let's say next part of the webinar. So mainly you have highlighted, let's say, several key points, as well as the connection between the startup and the industrial and the process of open innovation is very important and could be one of the solution. And here the living labs could play a role in let's say in providing this kind of solution to the industrial sector, with for sure with collaboration. Also, Ricardo, from your part, you highlighted that mainly the collaboration between academia and the business is very important, and mainly it need to be, let's say, helped even with some initiative as well as the EU soil mission, and that could result to concrete solution and to real action in the field. And at last, Ayman highlighted and showed us some key examples from other area not too far from Europe, but it's very important that we had this transnational initiative, and that also we promote some solution, and we could benefit from the European and the North African or other area from the world, and benefit from our key, let's say, experience, and also highlighted the role of the private sector, especially in the scalability, because when the private sector is there, they could finance, they could try and test the solution, and they could scale to the large level, and they could even impact the ecosystem and all the area. So thank you very much. I don't know if one of you have keywords to pass and to close this discussion. So I will start by Ricardo. Just a final conclusion, a keyword to conclude this discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Madi, once again. No, I think that you concluded very well. At least the message that I had. Once again, emphasizing a little bit this type of collaboration in co-creation with this type of stakeholders, I think it's key. And the participatory events and the exchange of not only knowledge but of the problems with the academic partners, I think it's also key to leverage this type of interaction, this type of collaboration. And I think that once again, the opportunity that we have right now at the European level to bring together these stakeholders and work with them answering these problems, I think it's very important, and we cannot miss it. We cannot miss it, particularly looking into these soil aspects that can have from rural intervention to peri-urban to urban, etc. I think it's very important for us to look into it and to bring the right partners from all the countries to work together and to answer these problems. Yeah.
Thank you, Ricardo. Ms. Monica.
Oh, yes. From my side, first of all, I would like to thank you very much for the invitation. It was really a pleasure to just learn more about what is happening in other countries and how different approaches we can have. I wanted to encourage the participants to think about becoming living labs and not being afraid of co-creation and testing and piloting with users. So I think this is the basic issue. And so let's become together and let's work together in the Living Lab community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ayman, I know you just concluded, but mainly some key, let's say, words to conclude our discussion. Thank you.
No, I think this subject is under investigated. I'm again talking from my own perspective because we are in a context which is very difficult. These systems are really highly subsidized, and we need it's a subject which is under investigated, under researched, how we can engage and mobilize private sectors into similar systems which are really like low profit oriented systems of subsistence, and where only resilience can be improved. But also at the same time, I think if we take a more pragmatic view of soil, soil is not only soil, but many things are affecting soil. It's like the human health. So many things can affect the soil health. If we take this more pragmatic view of looking to technologies directly and indirectly impacting the soil quality, I think we can find a lot of spots where the private sector can help affecting and achieving some useful objectives. And I think we need to know how to speak to them. If your private sector's expectations are financial returns based for their investment with us, if we show to them that they can benefit, either reduce their research cost or increase their marketing and reach, I think that would be completely feasible. So there are some opportunities, but a lot of constraints also.
Thank you very much, Ayman, and thank you for all of you for this inspiring experience and also insight that you shared with us. I think it was very, very valuable. So we will try to give the floor to discussion to the audience, but we want to, let's say, as we are running in the time, so we will move on to the Miro board, and maybe in the last part of the webinar we will give the floor to the audience if they want to add something or if they have they want to share experience. So now directly I will move on to Anita, my colleague Anita, to present the Miro board and to present to you, let's say, summary, let's say, of this discussion, and to start the connection also with the second part of the webinar. Thank you. Anita, yeah. You have the floor.
All right, so thank you very much. We are, maybe this is the moment in which preferable to do not register, because we are entering in a networking session in which all of the participants who had agreed to share some of their information to be shared among us will be invited to present themselves and take the occasion to start some networking, which will be further solidified throughout the matchmaking platform right after.
We have different stakeholder typologies, so from industry, academia, networks, and then also different expertise. So this is the kind of collaboration we would like to enhance with this activity of networking. So we invite you to navigate in our Miro board to see and find other contacts you might be interested in partnering with, and then now it's also time to move to the next session of matchmaking. So we really invite you to explore our matchmaking platform, and now we're gonna have a deeper introduction to what the Nashun's transnational matchmaking platform is offering to our potential applicants for the next call. And I give back the floor to Mehdi. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugenio. Thank you very much, Anita. So now, I said, so we'll move on to the next part of our webinar. So we heard your experience, and we will try to answer to this, and that's why it's very important. And we think that sharing with you our matchmaking platform and help you also in engaging in this platform could be very beneficial for you. But before starting, we want to start by some ice-breaking question and to see if you are interested, and if you have already used, for example, if you have currently identifying some potential partner for collaborative project in the field of living labs, and what are the tools that you are using, if it's professional, you're attending some events, online search, using matchmaking platform or other. Please specify in the chats to see if you have an idea how you are usually, what are your process, let's say, in identifying some potential partner. Okay, so professional network. So it's let's say the most common answer, and it's very normal. So the first thing that we think is the people that we know, and it's very easy to reach them. So I believe that it's very it's the most common. The matchmaking platform, only one use the matchmaking platform. So I hope after this webinar we'll have more people using the matchmaking platform, but I don't know, we still miss other participants to feel, but let's say we have a general idea. So mainly online research, personal network. Also, we try to attend some events, but maybe the easiest way and to be sure is to to reach our personal network, but mainly for some cases, we need to have more than our personal network, and we need to have experience abroad, even in another countries. And I think for this we need to use some support and some tools that could help us in reaching some people who don't know, who are not in our personal networks. So if you could move on to the next question. Yes, thank you very much. So we have seen that the matchmaking platform is not the most common tool that we are using, but did you think that in your experience, I don't know if you have experience in some Horizon calls, if you had the chance to use matchmaking platform to facilitate the formation of the consortium of the Horizon call? As you know, all the Horizon call need to have a big consortium, several organizations from several countries. So how the matchmaking platform could facilitate the formation of this consortium? So providing detailed partner profile, offering network events and webinar, incorporating advanced search filter, all of the above. So is the most common answer, and it's mainly the answer because the matchmaking platform have the benefit that they could make several facilities and several benefits. So mainly providing the partner profile, offering networks, and all of this could be answered in the matchmaking platform. So please, if you could move on to the last question. So maybe we will wait a few seconds before. Okay, if
we have run out of the questions.
Okay, no worries. So we have seen that the matchmaking platform, it's not the most common, let's say, facility that we use in creating the consortium, but we are aware that the matchmaking platform have a great potential to help us in finding the right partners and to help us and enhance our chance to, let's say, to successful, let's say, Horizon calls. But for sure now our thematic is supporting the EU mission soil deal for Europe National Community and establishing living labs. And thanks to this opportunities, so we have the chance that we have some calls that will be launched from the European Commission. Oh, you have the last question. So maybe it's about the challenges that you have encountered in the past when trying to form consortia for collaborative projects, and how do you think a matchmaking platform could address this challenge? So it's a long answer, but mainly we will, it's very interesting if you have your answer in the chat regarding this question. But I think I will also, I will ask you to answer in the meantime, but I will start also my presentation. And maybe within the presentation, we will find some area where you could, let's say, ask yourself if there is some challenges or there is some, the matchmaking, how the matchmaking could address these challenges. So as our role in the Nation project is to support the mission. So one of our main tasks is to create transnational matchmaking platform. We'll share. One of our, let's say, main, so I still the poll and the quizzes. So. Okay. So, sorry. So one of our main, let's say, tasks is to have the matchmaking platform and to help you in submitting to the call launched by the European Commission and by Horizon Project to create the living labs. And we know that the living labs, they will dispose with valuable budget. And for this, we need to have the right partners in the right countries and to have, let's say, tools that could help us in connecting and even understand from each other and learn from our experience. So the Soul Living Labs online matchmaking platform and event, which is promoted under our project Nations, enable international stakeholders to meet online and to create partnerships to establish the Living Labs under the EU Mission A Soil Deal for Europe. And you know, the last year 2 calls was launched by the Horizon project, and also this year a new calls will be launched. So in new topics, so we will for sure, as you are in our we'll share with you these opportunities, and also the aim of the project is to help you in submitting to these opportunities. So the long-term matchmaking platform will be accessible through the whole project, the duration of the project, and will offer the applicants the opportunities to schedule online meetings, and in some cases some meeting in presence. It depends with the event, and with the potential to the partner to the creation of urban, agro, post-industrial, and forestry living labs and lighthouses under the call, as I said, of Horizon, as well as the last year, which is the soil co-creation solution for soil health and carbon farming in living labs. So this platform also will help and will be open to other representatives from the public sector, scientific communities, private companies, citizens association. All are eligible to participate in the Living Labs, and all are eligible to participate in our matchmaking platform. So the matchmaking platform offer, as I said, the main, let's say, role is to offer the virtual matchmaking events. How they work, so it's an easy, let's say, event which is initiated by the users, and could be for 20 minutes, could be more. So it depends through your needs, and they are really easy to help you in creating and to build connection even before the meeting and also next to the meeting as a follow-up, and to help you, as I said from the beginning, to achieve and to create some consortium to participate in the Living Labs. So to start, is the first thing for sure is to join our platform and to register via the register button there in red. So you will, it's very easy, it's the first thing that you will have. So, and as you know, when you register in the platform, you need to fill your some information that could help you and help the platform to identify and understand the needs. And also you could select, let's say, what are the topics that you are interested in, what are the main, let's say, objective of joining the platform, and this could help you in achieving the objective of joining such as our matchmaking platform. After the registration, you will fill and you will publish your business profile to showcase your needs. So people who are on the platform need to have an idea about your business profile and to understand your needs. So you need to create a clear and concise business profile to raise your visibility on the B2Match platform. And your profile, for sure, to describe who you are, what you could offer, who you want to meet, and for sure, as much as you feel information and you give the right information, as much as you will generate significantly more meeting requests and more, let's say, tentative to communication, and that will help you for sure to have a better result. So, and this is the images that you will have from your profile and the profile for the other participants. After the registration and you have published your business profile, so you'll have the chance to discover and to browse the profile of attendees and all the participants in the platform who are already registered, as well as you. And you could for sure have the facilities to have a search and to select, let's say, some criteria, the country, the organization type, the participation type, which are the soil mission objective, what land use type, and all this could help you in finding the right partner that could help you in creating your consortia. So, and you will this is some screenshot of the platform, and as you have seen, there is more than 500 participants already registered in the platform, which is, let's say, a great database from several countries. I will give more numbers about the platform later. Also, the platform gives us the chance to send and receive meeting requests. So after having your profile ready, you could also share your needs and create an opportunities, as well as in the marketplace of the platform, where you could add, for example, what are the objects, what are you waiting for, why what is your, let's say, what are you looking for, the consortium partner, the profile. And when you share this opportunity, all the registrants will could have a look at this opportunity and could interact with you, even by messages, but also by initiating some meeting requests. And through this, you could have you could send messages, you could request meeting, and for each of you will have an agenda. You will receive an agenda, and you will have this meeting requests, and if you are available, you could accept, and then you'll have the agenda with all the events that you have, with all the meetings that you have, and you could, let's say, complete your schedule. And for sure, the meeting will be online, so you need to check your camera and microphone to let's say, to ensure the technical part for sure. So the platform is very easy. We have a technical help desk also at your disposal to help you in each step if you need anything. So it will take no more than 30 minutes to have all the profile ready with your all the information, and you discovered all the partners and all the functionality of the platform. So why it's very benefit to register to the platform, because mainly it till we have now 1 year that we are running this platform, and we are achieving a great result. So we have 42 countries represented in this platform. We have several types of organization. We have academia, we have association, we have business, we have national authorities, we have citizens, we have landowner, land manager, national contact point, special planner. We have several types of profile, and we have several organizations, nearly 500, and we have more than 560 participants. As you know, an organization could have several participants from the same organization. So you could, even as a team, register as a participant, and you could register your organization. So the platform constitutes, let's say, a rich database of profile, but you cannot access to this platform only if you register to the platform. So maybe we ask you to register. It will be very helpful to you in the future to create consortia, especially for the call that will be launched from the European Commission. I want to share with you also some tips that could help you to ensure that you have great visibility on the platform. First, you need to complete your profile. The information that we are asking is not personal. It's mainly on your needs. What are the land use type that you are searching for? What are the objectives? What are the description of your organization? What are you doing? So it's very important that you complete all your information. And just for information, so the platform is respecting the GDPR rules, and we are respecting all the information. And you will the people who are registered don't access to your personal contacts. Maybe they could contact you only on the platform. So just to ensure you that you are safe registered to this platform, and it's very important to complete your profile. Second is to define your objective. When you are registering to this platform, you need to be sure and to know what are your needs and what are your objectives when joining the platform. So for me, for example, from the business's perspective. So I need to find, for example, some national authorities, for example. So I have an objective. So I need a profile, kind of profile, an organization working on this area. So you need to have a clear objective, so to ensure that you are going to target it. So third, you need to really discover and check all the platform, and also to thoroughly review the participants. So you have the checks, you could limit, you have the filter, but mainly you need to review the participants to better understand and to better, let's say, match with the right people that you need. So it's very important. Also, you need to express your interest. So you have the message facilities, you have the meeting request. So you need to initiate meetings and also to send messages, and the clear messages. And you need to be really very, very positive and very, let's say, entrepreneur. You need to really send messages to initiate things. So if you are going to wait till people will send you, it will not work for you. So you need to be very active in the platform so that you will ensure results. For sure, you need to have a concise introduction. You need to be open to diversity. You have several profiles, you have several countries, you have several people. So mainly we need to be open, especially that working on transnational level, mainly it's working with cultural diversity. So it's very enriching, but you need to be open to this also. And you need also to communicate clearly what are your needs, what are your objectives. You need to be concise and clear in your messages. And for sure, after the meeting and after initiating, we need to follow up. So you need, you could, let's say, organize yourself to visit the platform for 5 minutes a day, for example, after the registration, all of that, so that you check your messages, so that you follow up your discussion, so that to succeed and really to achieve the results. And at least we several times we try to have your feedback, and we'll ask you for your feedback. And the matter is that we want to enhance the user experience in the platform. So maybe it's very important, if you find a problem or anything, that you share with us this, and we will help you in this experience, and we will try to be and we'll support you in each step, as I said from the beginning, in the platform. So mainly this is the main functionalities. So I will not have the time to, let's say, to enter the platform and to create a profile, but mainly we are at your disposal. We have our contacts, and you could, in the platform, you have the technical help desk that could help you in creating your profile, or if you have any problem, we will support you. And I ensure to you that it's very easy, that you will not find a problem. But if there is anything, you have our contacts, and we could answer to your problem. So thank you very much. So I think my colleague shared with you the link of the platform, so you could check it. And now mainly I will give the floor if you have any question, or if you want to share with us your experience with matchmaking platforms, or anything, any thoughts that you found. We are at your disposal. We could answer to you. So you have the floor. Thank you.
Thanks, Mahdi. Just as a final comment, we invite everyone again to look at the platform, register. For sure, we're gonna organize directly on the platform follow-up events of this thematic event series. So even if the calls for the new work program are not out yet, anyway, all the topics that we present in these thematic events are bottom-up relevant topics that could be included in the next calls. The next calls, of course, will be also open, but they will also be quite flexible to also make sure that real challenges that the stakeholders and the participants of today's event have shown are represented. So I think the whole idea of this matchmaking platform is really to bring case studies, examples of real challenges, so bottom-up real challenges, and see if there is anyone else across Europe and beyond that is sharing these issues. So I think this is the scope. So also including different stakeholders like landowners and people that on the ground are experimenting or fighting some challenges. I think this is the added value. As we saw from the answers, most of the contacts come from direct relationships and networks, mainly through academia and also national or local governmental institutions. We want to go a step further and trying to make sure that also other partners like industry or farmer organizations can also network and really join similar challenges.
Yes, maybe, I don't know if we can take some minutes to know from the audience if someone has already started the registration in the matchmaking platform, any problems that they encountered, or any question rising from that. So far, we are seeing that there are a lot of people being connected through the matchmaking platform. We have a very wide audience, having many participants from Spain, Portugal, Turkey, France, Poland, Romania, Italy, Denmark, Belgium, Bulgaria, you name it, many. So that would be very interesting and useful, especially for future applicants, to find other partners in the EU member states, but also affiliated countries. So take this chance to meet some other people with whom you could share many objectives, and also have complementary kinds of needs and skills. So maybe, I don't know if anyone had any problem or any question in this regard. Please let us know, either here in the chat or also connecting directly with us, or Mahdi in particular, who is in charge of the matchmaking platform running. As we are here, I also invite you again to visit our website, our list of thematic events. We will have 2 more events this month, and 1 more in the mid-February. So there were still many things running, and more in general, if you want to dive into more specific aspects of the EU calls, living lab concepts, and etc., please browse and visit our website to find other webinars and all of the other materials that we have collected so far. In addition, as for any event that we do, please fill the feedback survey. That is very important for us also to make to better tailor our messages to you, to the audience and the future applicants. So please, it's very appreciated if you give us feedback on this. And I think it's all from me now. I don't know if maybe Mahdi also wants to add a few more words before closing.
Thank you, Anita. Just to come back regarding the when preparing this event, we think that we want to be in the practicality, and we want to really help you and support you in finding the new partner. I know I have seen the comment that it's not difficult to find the right partner, and that's why through this experience we want to, let's say, to really to be at your disposal to find the right partners, and to let's say to find, let's say, the good consortium that you could join and that could help you And the objective mainly is to create these living labs, and especially to work and protect the soil health, our soil health. And we have seen from the first discussion that it's very important that we have this collaboration between the private sector and the business, and the private sector, the business, and the academia. And we think that the platform could be also helpful in creating this this match, because as from your answer, you have seen that the first thing is the personal networks, and for sure the personal network of an academia is the academia, and also from the business. So mainly this is the objective of the platform, and really we are at your disposal, as said by Genio and Anita. And we hope that we was clear in our presentation, and all the steps are clear to you, and you have all the necessary link to ensure your registration and to ensure that you are on the platform. So thank you very much for your to be here with us, and we hope that we answer to your questions and to your let's say needs. And it's my last word. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So
And
see you in the next events.
I want to thank the technical team also who are on the background.
Yes.
Also.
Thank
Yeah.
Trust IT for
Trust
being
IT.
with us all the time. So see you in the next thematic event and or in the matchmaking platform. So see you there, and thank you very much.
Thank you.